The newly emerging domain of biotechnology began in 1937 when scientists at Stanford University, Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer, discovered recombinant DNA technology. Inserting human genes into bacteria produced a range of therapeutic products, including human insulin and human growth hormone. Biotechnology is simply the harnessing of living systems for the production of commercially important products. Living systems like yeast, fungi, bacteria have been used since time immemorial to produce cheese, bread, beer, and wine. Alexander Fleming's discovery in 1928 of a fungus to produce penicillin was a huge breakthrough in the manufacture and production of antibiotics. The applications of biotechnology are diverse and far-reaching. In 1988, a number of high-yielding varieties of good crops were grown through genetic engineering. This has dramatically increased food output and substantially reduced the pesticide levels used in cultivation. In 1989, an oil spill caused by Exxon was cleaned up by using genetically engineered bacteria that could feed on oil.
Post-independence years were full of optimism. The country was involved in the task of nation building. Into this charged atmosphere was born a baby girl to R.I. Mazumdar and his wife Yamini. Little did they know that the baby girl whom they had prophetically named Kiran would one day become a leading beacon in the field of biotechnology in India.
Kiran took her responsibilities very seriously. Her homework was always done perfectly. I mean, I don't want to make her sound too much like an angel because, of course, she was like all students, but she really was an enthusiastic person to have in class. She took part in everything. She had a sense of humor. You always knew that Kiran was there 100% with you in your classroom.
Kiran is a pioneer who started Biocon in India way back in 1978, at a time when the world at large, and India in particular, were focusing on the new mantra of information technology.
As a child, I actually wanted to be a doctor. And since I was interested in biology, I opted for medicine. Of course, I didn't get into medical college because they found me psychologically unfit to pursue medicine. So that was a big setback for me. What ended up happening after that was that I had to sort of reconcile myself into pursuing a BSc honors degree in zoology honors. My father was India's first brewmaster and very proud of that and his profession. And he felt that he wanted one of his children to pursue brewing. And of course, my two brothers were not that keen, so he obviously counted on his daughter to follow his footsteps. And I really followed his footsteps all the way because I, of course, qualified to be India's first woman brewmaster.
Kiran completed her master's in brewing technology from Melbourne University and returned to India, ready to take the brewing industry by storm.
Well, Australia was a real learning experience for me. I grew up very fast. I was the only girl in a class of 10, but I must say that I had very supportive male colleagues.
Unfortunately, none of the breweries were willing to give her that chance.
I therefore decided to then join my father in his consultancy. And of course, that helped me get a lot of experience in the brewing industry. But at the end of the day, I couldn't get a job as a brewmaster. I was very depressed, I was very disillusioned, and more than anything, I was very frustrated because I knew that I was better than a lot of the male brewers in this country, but I just couldn't get the people to accept me.
After many frustrating attempts to get a job, she abandoned her efforts and decided to move to Scotland as an assistant brewmaster.
Before I left for the UK to take up this new assignment, I actually was approached by an Irish entrepreneur, Les Auchincloss, who was very keen to set up a biotech operation in India.
Kiran did not have any management skills, and more important, absolutely no expertise in biotechnology. The startup process was tough. Capital was low, office was a garage, and biotechnology was not a popular industry at that time. Not many people were willing to take a 25-year-old woman seriously when she introduced herself as the managing director of a biotechnology firm.
And that is how it all began. In a rented shed in a remote suburb of Bangalore, with a staff of 5 to 6 people, a dash of bravado, and the amazing foresight of a man from across the world who bet on young 25-year-old Kiran Mazumdar and won.
Within the first few years, Biocon India's turnover reached $2.5 million. It now stands at a whopping $50 million. Today, Biocon India is the largest producer and exporter of industrial enzymes and active pharmaceutical ingredients. The company began its biotechnology saga with production of papain, a plant enzyme extracted from papaya fruit used to break down complex protein into soluble protein, an application that is called for a host of food processing industries, including meat tenderizing, biscuit manufacture, and beer clarification. In 1984, the company started a research initiative to develop novel enzymes for a diverse range of food and industrial application. These include fruit juice extraction and clarification, improved bread and biscuit production, tea and coffee processing, beer and wine processing, cellulose softening and polishing for textile processing, bio-bleaching of paper, production of biofuels and bio-baiting of leather. What this involved was serious bioprospecting from millions of potential microorganisms like fungi, bacteria, and yeast. A genetic mutation program to enhance enzyme production in these microbes and developing a powerful fermentation technology with which to produce the enzymes. Kiran's products are exported practically all over the world: South Asia, Far East Asia, Russia, South America, the United States of America, Canada, Europe, the Middle East, and South Africa.
It's been a combination of people and innovation, people and creativity. And what we really believe in is getting ordinary people to do extraordinary things.
Biocon filed its U.S. patent in November 1998 for a novel bioreactor, the Play Factor, based on solid substrate technology developed indigenously.
The Play Factor, which is our trademarked reactor, you see the computer control here, combines the best aspects of both these fermentation technologies, the advantages of solid state fermentation and the advantages of submerged fermentation.
The greatest benefit of the Play Factor is that it opens up the production of high-value pharmaceuticals, not only at very affordable costs, but also those that cannot be made by any other method. The future plans are focused on cutting-edge biotechnology for the production of human therapeutics. These include human insulin, anti-cancer monoclonal antibodies, and a number of other recombinant therapeutics. For Kiran, the road to success has not always been smooth. In 1984, due to labor problems, she even had to face a lockout in her factory.
It was at that time that I decided to evolve a very unique management style which would really support a sort of a very horizontal organization where there was going to be no hierarchy, where there was going to be an educational harmony across the organization. And we actually made it mandatory that every employee in the company would have to be a graduate. In people management that I have perceived is the need for people to have a high sense of self-worth, self-esteem. And I really encourage my people to develop a sense of confidence in the way they present themselves. And therefore, I encourage people to attend training programs regularly. I encourage people to participate in seminars, workshops, both nationally and internationally. And I really believe that this has played a very important role in developing people in the right manner.
For the production of high-value natural juices and purees from tropical fruits. Now, when we say cyclophilic pectinases, we mean that these processings will be done at a temperature of around 20 degrees.
The process has to be done at low temperature.
Yes, the process will be a low temperature process.
Okay.
Therefore, the enzyme that will be selected will be something which is optimum at this low temperature.
At 35, Kiran was the youngest woman to receive India's coveted honor, the Padma Shri, from the President of India, an achievement that rightfully did her friends and family proud. Kiran has gone on to win many such honors by focused dedication to her work and other social causes, yet this has not affected her straightforward simplicity.
I remember standing with her at a party once. We were talking and people came up and in a rather condescending way, as they do tend to ask women this question, and they said, "Oh, and what do you do?" And she said, "I work in biotechnology." She didn't say, "I am this and I am that." And that, for me, sums up Kiran.
She sets great store by her family and friends. Even today, she's not averse to playing a few pranks on them and enjoying every moment of it.
So this is Kiran, a veritable bundle of talent, a good businesswoman, a good friend, a good human being, and now a good wife.
Kiran drew strength and inspiration from her father. Every day she looks at the almond tree at her factory, planted in his memory, and knows he is watching over her. Kiran has been a pioneer in biotechnology in India. Since then, the government has set up a department of biotechnology for the purpose of building a skilled base in it. Today, this initiative has resulted in the setting up of premier research institutes, such as the Center for Cellular Biology at Hyderabad, the National Center for Biological Sciences at Bangalore, the National Center of Immunology at New Delhi, and the Institute of Microbial Technology at Chandigarh.
Today at 47, Kiran has scaled heights that very few women have been able to. She can proudly look back at her achievements and her contribution to society and feel content. But Kiran doesn't have the habit of looking back, only ahead.
It's very apparent today that biotechnology has a very, very pivotal role to play in a global way in terms of agri-biotech, in terms of pharmaceutical biotech, and in terms of course, enzyme technology and environmental biotechnology.